Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. Today, we're going to talk about all of the UR Pierce units that are out there, which units are really accessible if you are maybe a new player to the game, which units are my personal favorite, and which ones are going to receive just a little bit more love in order to be taken advantage of. I really believe, first and foremost, that Victora is probably the most accessible Pierce unit out of the entire batch. There's a couple reasons for that, but primarily it's because she's a very powerful individual unit. What do I mean by that? Well, when you are able to go into multiple compositions and not require specific espers, specific VC cards, specific gear, when you're not required to have, a specific build, it really adds flexibility. Not only that, Victoria also has access to Sub Thief, which does make her really valuable if you need maybe a quality steal time unit. It's going to balance out for her. She's going to be useful no matter how you utilize her. Not only that, the Ice Lance is literally designed for her. We go into the Ice Lance, there are multiple Ice Lance events all the time. Pierce attack up 15, Ice attack up 30. Victora is literally my favorite unit, and she has served me so well over my entire time in War of the Visions. If there's ever a question of what unit to throw in my composition, Victora goes in. She is that good. She is that powerful, and I think you need to recognize she is just an overall amazing unit. Now, she might not be the best in comparison to other units like Glaciella or Kane if you are in the most optimal setup. However, as an independent unit and as a unit that doesn't require a lot of gear level to achieve the best results, I think she's one of the best units you could possibly get. You're either starting the game or looking to begin your Pierce composition. Now, Glaciella and Kane actually have the exact same problem. And their problem is that their gear is locked behind events, and they require a specific VC card in order to be optimized. So Glaciella requires Titan, and Kane requires Demon Wall. It's not a matter of, you can throw another Esper on them or you can line it up in a different way. The difference is substantial. In Kane's situation, receiving a dark attack benefit and an attack benefit, it's literally bonkers, right? That would be like me saying, take Ice Lance off Victora because she doesn't need that 45% modifier on her attacks, right? That's the level of crazy it would be to not have Demon Wall with Kane. Yeah, you can run him without it. It would be a bad idea. With Glaciella, Titan is definitely required as well because she does get an attack buff from having the Titan card. It's hard to argue that you should run different VCs on these units. Now, with Kane, you are going to be a little bit blocked by not having access to the Wind Spear if you're a new player. And the Wind Spear is definitely his best spear and his BIS spear. You could throw an Ice Assault Lance Spear on him though, and get pretty similar results. It's not going to be the best, but you could probably get away with it. Glaciella is the exact same situation, right? Technically, the Wind Spear +5 is the best for her, but you can put an Ice Lance +5 on her and get past that as well. And the Ice Lance for Assault does come around quite frequently. What doesn't come around frequently, though, is the Water Ring for Glaciella, which does add 40 entire attack to her build. So if you don't have the Water Ring, we'll go ahead and remove that. It is going to lower her attack just a little bit. In terms of big picture and in terms of kind of what these three UR units bring to the picture, well, in terms of Glaciella, Glaciella brings 82% Pierce modifier once she's fully buffed, and she also has that 50% defense piercing off her primary buffing ability. That's pretty good. However, you do have to recognize, right, that defense piercing only works for the unit that is actually having defense, right? So if a unit does not have defense, defense piercing is going to be useless. Now, the Pierce modifier is really powerful, and it really calls out something with Glaciella that I think a lot of people don't think about, and that is that attack is very critical for Glaciella. Because she has such a high Pierce attack modifier, that means that every piece of attack that you add onto her is going to be modified and modified again, right? Because it's going to have the modifier of the primary attack, and then it's going to have the modifier of the Pierce attack that she has as well. So this is crazy. Now, keep in mind the 82% Pierce modifier was assuming that we do have other VC cards buffing her. So if you don't have other VC cards buffing her, she is going to have about 50% Pierce modifier. Still really powerful. Another reason why it makes the Titan card essential for her, because it adds that 30% attack to her. It's kind of a situation where Glaciella is either going to really shine for you and you're able to have all the right pieces for her, or she's going to be a pretty lackluster unit. Now, in terms of Victora, I already kind of talked about it. She's kind of the all-rounder, right? She's a unit that, you know, she's going to get the job done. She's great for beginners into the Pierce comp. She's my #1 favorite unit, and she probably has the best LB in the game, I personally think, because being able to charm opponents and having such an awkward angle with her makes her so powerful. What about Kane, the newest unit to have come out? Well, Kane is almost a jack of all trades, and he's a unit that is very interesting, and we're still learning kind of what his role is. He has 10% defense penetration, accuracy +10, luck +20%, crit +8, attack +60%, or depending on your passives, it could be 84%. Defense +12, HP +12 if you switch your passives up. His buff does give him attack 40%, agility +25%, and he does have access to Immortal Spirit. Now, on the JP side of things, I have heard that it is quite common to run Kane in an Immortal Spirit build. So his primary role would be to pop Immortal Spirit, charge into the enemy's lines as a glass cannon, and wreak havoc. I don't know how beneficial this is going to be, and I'm not sure how you're going to pull off if you're just going to remove maybe his 40% attack buff and agility +25% buff, turn that off, and then force him to use Immortal Spirit. It's going to be really interesting to see how he evolves as a unit. I think as a unit, he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be really powerful. I think he's going to be very good at killing light element units. And if Immortal Spirit works the way that it's planning on working, I think he could be pretty good. I think he would probably rival Victora, except that he would fit in more complicated compositions, and he would make a really good partner to Ruin Stern. Shout out to EDYC for subscribing right now, my man. 1989, that is the year I was born. Ayaka and King Eld are kind of interesting as other UR Pierce units. And they're interesting because they branch into parts of the meta that are not fully hashed out. It's almost like you're going into the wildlands when you start considering a King Eld composition or an Eileen composition. Eileen got a recent buff with the fact that the Titan card attack buff will also affect her. So I've actually been working on my Eileen to elevate her. And Eileen is also one of those units very similar to King Elda, where she's not a Dragoon, but she is a Lancer main job. And the one thing that Lancers have that Dragoons and, Spear Maidens and all of them don't have is they have access to Deadly Mastery, which is going to raise your critical hit rate. Now, another ability that they have access to is Sharpspear, which will raise their attack and their critical hit rate for 3 turns. Now, this is pretty powerful. You can also see that Eileen has access to self-sacrifice, and I don't think she has all of her board unlocked, but you can see she does have Sharpspear as well. So it's relatively easy for the two of these units to break 100% critical hit rate. Eileen is kind of like a truck. King Elda is more of a tanky spear user. So if I had to correlate them, King Elda is actually very similar to Glaciella, except that he is lacking the movement of like Leap Strike, and he has more balance towards critical hits. Eileen is also pretty tanky, not as much as King Elda, but she is going to be able to get in, take a beating, and deal some damage. The biggest drawback with Eileen is her speed. Her agility is on the lower end for UR units, and for a lot of people, that is a breaking point, right? That's something where immediately they're turned off, they're turned away from it, and they're really saying, you know, no, I don't want to pursue a low agility unit. So Eileen, you're going to be shelved, right? That's essentially the description I would give to all of these units. I've been reflecting on my Pierce composition, and you guys are going to be seeing some interesting builds coming out here in the near future. Where I'm planning on going in the future is I'm planning on doing a 100% critical hit rate spear team, featuring King Elda and a couple other units, just to see, now that we have this card, the 4 Kings, with party-wide, it's actually not fully maxed out yet, but I believe it caps at either 20 or 25%. Party-wide critical hit rate up, and then on the individual unit, it gives attack up, and it gives starting AP up. And I think I want to do some combination of slash resist and critical hit rate. And I want to exceed the critical hit rate cap so that critical evasion isn't going to be as effective on it. And see if we really can get a true 100% critical hit rate team. Anyway, guys, I hope this video kind of was interesting and different. I wanted to talk about something that I was really passionate about, and so spear users was at the top of my mind. If you like this video, or if you want videos that are similar to this, let me know down in the comment section down below. As always, we do try to innovate and work on new experimental content. So let me know, guys. And as always, if you are going to buy Visior, make sure you check out my affiliate link at dig.gs/coins, or you can also go to dig.gs/offer. Stop by our Discord, drop a comment down in the YouTube section down below, and have a great rest of your day.